Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jeanie Ellis and I'm also known as Scrapbooking Mama. And today I want to share with you a project that I'm making using the Scrap Perfect's best glue ever and a couple of other products. As you see here, I'm getting ready to make a card. There's my card base. I folded it, or I cut out a 5x10 and folded it in half. And then the next thing that I did is I took a 7-inch square, folded it in half, folded in half the other direction, and the next step after that I will fold it turn the paper over and fold it from point to point on one direction only. So you're going to have 4 triangles inside and 2 squares, and each of the squares are 3.5 inches. So you want to make sure the crease is good so that way you can get that fold in like you just saw quickly, but you'll see more later. Then I cut out some mounting squares at 3¼ inches, and I cut 2 of the mounting squares in half diagonally. So that way I had 4 triangles and 2 squares. And as you see there, I do have some purple acetate. Love it, and you'll see why I used it later. The next thing I decided to do was go ahead and get my mounting squares for the top of the card, and I just cut them a little bit smaller than I did on the front card front. And I decided I better go ahead and clean my trimmer because it was a mess, and that cleaner cleaned all that black off so well. It didn't take much to do it at all. So I'm glad I've got that in there. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the top of the card with my mounting sheets, my mounting squares. And again, don't use a lot of glue. It doesn't take much, and it'll last a lot longer if you use a little bit. Now I like to and I wiped there because I got some on the top of the paper, so I did a quick wipe. I don't know if I should have, but I did. And I'm using that glove there so that way I can press it down in case it does ooze and get on my fingers. I'm not going to mess up my other sheet. Next, I took my stamp and put it on my acrylic block using black ink, and put it in the center. I do trim out that card a little bit later. I trim it up, and make it a little bit smaller later. Clean off my stamp so that way later. Here I'm simply getting that cleaned off and put away for the house, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment and get it prepared so that way I can get it mounted onto my card. But I'm going to do something else to the house too, not to the house itself, but to the area around it. So that'll be here in a little bit. Now that I have my sentiment on, I'm going to be adding some foil to the house. But first, I've got to add the glue onto it so that way it'll dry and become tacky so I can adhere the foil to it. But more about that in a little bit. Don't put your glue on too thick. You don't want it real thick, but you do want it spread enough to where it covers the areas that you want. I'm just kind of going around the bushes, and then I'm doing little spots here and there, and then I just, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and add my mounting pieces on, thin lines as much as I can, and not too close to the edge, and just barely put it on there. I didn't have to squish it down or anything. It just attached real easily. So that's one thing that I like about that glue. It's enough to where I can move it a little bit. It got a little wiggle room. But I tell you what, that glue, it sticks good. So rather than putting it onto the little triangle, I thought I'd go ahead and put it onto the piece, and that way I wouldn't handle the paper with the glue on it and get it all over my fingers, which I've done that. And it's very, very sticky. Now I like this glue because the glue does not show through on the acetate. That is a colored acetate sheet and that I had cut out, and it does not show through. Once it's dry, it dries clear. So that's what I like about it also, is that it doesn't dry where it's still white. Now we're going back to the house, and here's where we have the fun of adding the foil to it. As you can see, it's shiny side up because the bottom, once you put it onto your paper, the bottom is what pulls that shiny part onto your sheet, the card base or whatever it is you want it on there. Now I used a bone folder there, and I don't recommend that because I think I spread it too much. But as it turned out, it came out just fine, so I was pleased about that. And it stays tacky long enough to where if you need to repair places to it, you can add to it with the foil. So I really, really like it, and it came out so pretty and so shiny. I like shiny. I like it. I'm a blingy kind of person anyway. So now I thought, it would look good to go ahead and distress the edges of the card top. And I used intense black. Takes a little bit to do it because, I'm slow anyway. So it came out good. I thought that black edging was good for it. So it made it pop a little bit more. But I felt like it needed a little bit more foil on it. So I still had plenty of time to do repairs to it. And in a little bit you'll see that I attached a black mounting sheet cardstock underneath the image there because I thought it needed to pop more. There it is. There's the black on the bottom of it. It just needed to pop. And see how thin a line I put on there? I mean, you don't need a whole lot. So, and it attaches, you don't have to worry about it. It's quick enough that you don't have to worry about it falling apart. And here's where that test comes in. This piece is a little heavier, so, you want it to attach quickly. And you'll see here in just a second or two that it does attach quickly. So I put it in the diagonal form and just kind of smushed it just a little bit, opened it up. It was already attached. As you see there, it didn't come apart or anything. So I did it on the other side, of course, and that's all the glue I used on it. And boom, boom. I mean, it's already attached again. So now I'm going to add a sentiment and an image of some keys on the inside just to give a little bit of decoration to the inside of the card instead of just saying home is where the heart is, open up and there's nothing, I mean, you want something on the inside of it. For the key image, I use glue dots right here that I had made from the glue, and they worked perfect. You let them dry clear, and they work great as glue dots. So you just need to put them on release paper and use them when you need them. Now I'm going to use my liquid glass, which has the medium tip into the cap there that I replaced, and it was perfect size for that. I didn't have to worry about anything over spilling in it. Inside the keys here, right, see if you can see that. You can't really tell the gloss, but it is gloss, but I love the fine tip here. Okay, now I want to show you something before we go any further. This bottle, of course, is liquid glass, and it had the original cap, of course, I've taken off of it. And this, it will fit the medium cap, okay? The medium cap is what this will fit. The best glue ever that I have here fits the large cap, and this would fit the small cap. Now, let me show you. First of all, in order to use this, I had to pop off this piece here, and all you do is pull it out with the pliers. May be a little difficult in some cases. I'll put it on here, okay? And that's what this represents here. Got red on me now. Okay, so you're going to have this end up with this. So you get your small cap for this one, and you'll place it onto your bottle, just like that. And then you have your no clog. Oops, I gotta be careful here. So you got two separate pieces here. This is the no clog part of it. Okay, now if you want to replace that, and we're going to put this back together because I don't want my glue to dry up. And if you want the finer tip, this one, the pink one, is the medium tip. Just twist this off. And if you want the finer one, put the yellow one on. Just twist it back on. And then you can replace that blue cap. And then the no clog part of it, you will use the cap that has the finer tip. This one's a lot smaller than this one, and of course the thick one's going to be thicker than these two. So, and then of course this will fit into, and it will have a fine tip to it. A fine, you're going to have an extra fine. Just want to make sure it gets going first, and it's not going to clog up. And you can see I've already done some here. Okay, so now I've got my pink tip back on. This is a extra tip. I've got my pink tip back on, and now I can write with a thicker, well, I squeezed a little too much in there, but you can see the difference between this one and this one over here. You can see that's pretty thin over there. So, but each one has a little individual piece to it, cap to it, so that way it doesn't get clogged. And these can be bought separately as far as that goes too. But anyway, I wanted to show you that so that way you would understand, you know, what's the difference. This liquid glass fits the, and I think it's 2 ounces, fits the medium. This Best Glue Ever, I believe it's a 2 ounce also, but the cap fits the large, and these little guys fit the small. So you want to make sure that you get the right caps, but the tips don't matter. The tips can fit in any caps. Anyway, I'll give you links below for everything, and be sure you check them all out. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Many, many blessings. Bye.